The pond structure creates a thermal layer. Cooler water sinks, sits at depth, stays protected from the heat above. Native trout that would have died in summer temperatures survived because of the microclimate the beaver created. The beaver didn't just build a dam, it built an air conditioner. Jay Wild is a rancher in southeastern Idaho. His creek, Birch Creek, had been seasonal for as long as anyone had recorded it. Every summer it ran dry. That was just what Birch Creek did. Traditional restoration hadn't worked. The creek was too degraded for beavers to survive even if they wanted to move in. The banks were collapsed, the willows were gone, the stream beds scoured bare. So researchers from Utah State University tried something different. Beaver dam analogs, BDAs. Hand-built starter dams, wooden posts driven into the stream bed, woven with willow branches, designed to mimic beaver structures, slow the water, and invite beavers to take over. The cost comparison is worth stating plainly. Traditional stream engineering, $30,000 to $50,000 per mile. BDAs, $1,000 to $4,000 per mile. And once the beavers take over, the maintenance cost drops to zero. They work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they've never asked to be paid. In 2015, the team built 19 BDA starter structures on Birch Creek. The BDAs did their job first, slowing the water, rebuilding the banks, making the creek habitable again. Then they released 5 beavers into a creek that could finally support them. Within days, the beavers were reinforcing and improving the human-built structures. The researchers' own words, they do a much better job than we do. By the end of year 1, the creek stayed wet 40 days longer than any previously recorded summer. By year 4, those same 19 starter dams had become 149 active beaver dams. Birch Creek now flows year-round, something that had never happened before. The transformation was significant enough that researchers turned to NASA. Using Landsat satellite imagery, they independently measured changes in water coverage across the entire valley from space. The data confirmed what the ranchers had already seen, a measurable documented increase in surface and near-surface water across the landscape. The research team's own words, they had become beaver believers. That's why NASA is in the title, not for drama, because the numbers on the ground were large enough to read from orbit. Before European colonization, there were between 60 and 400 million beavers across North America. The fur trade ran from the 1600s through the 1800s, beaver pelts among the most traded commodities in North American commerce for 2 centuries. By the early 20th century, the population had collapsed to fewer than 100,000 animals. With them went an estimated 48 to 64 million acres of American wetlands. The rivers that now run dry and fast through the American West were once wide, slow, and perennial. We didn't just hunt a species, we dismantled a continental plumbing system. And here's what makes this harder to sit with. The science has been known for decades, the research existed, the mechanism was documented. Beavers were still being classified as pests, trapped and killed on site, while hydrologists were already publishing papers on exactly what the removal had cost. The knowledge existed, the will to act didn't. Birch Creek isn't the edge case, it's the proof of concept. The San Pedro River in Arizona cuts through the Sonoran Desert, one of the hottest, driest landscapes in North America, and a critical migratory corridor for hundreds of bird species. The river was turning into a dry channel. 15 beavers were released to restart the water retention cycle. If it works in the Sonoran Desert, it works almost anywhere in the American West. Active programs are now running across Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, and Washington. Federal agencies, state departments, and private ranchers all moving in the same direction. Beavers aren't the only ones coming back. Wolves, buffalo, and other keystone species are being reintroduced across degraded landscapes for the same reason. When you remove a keystone, the arch collapses. When you put it back, it rebuilds. The US released 5 beavers into a dead desert river. Then NASA noticed, not because it was surprising, but because the numbers were impossible to ignore. John Griggs blew up beaver dams with dynamite in 1990. Today, he stands in front of rooms full of ranchers and tells them what those animals built on the same land, along the same creek, in the county where he once tried to get rid of them. The water was always there. It just needed the right engineer to stop it from leaving. So the real question is, if 5 beavers can bring one dead desert river back, how many rivers across the West are just waiting for the same chance?